Hi everyone and welcome to Friday. You know, this video is going to be a little this and that. Thought I'll just share with you today. It's the end of another week, just about the end of another week, and it was a really good week. I felt like I was able to accomplish a lot of things that I wanted to. I was able to make some videos for next week that are going to be really exciting, and I really put a lot of effort into these videos. Today I thought I would share with you just some of the things that I'm reading. A lot of people ask me about my books, and they ask me what kind of books I like to read, and they would love to see my books. Well, I've done videos in this in the past. I really don't do a whole lot of videos on the books I like to read. As you've seen in my thumbnail, we got a book here. This was written in 1970, the year I was born, and it's very interesting. So it's The Woman's Fulfillment, the Guide to Creative Homemaking. And a lot of the things on here you probably couldn't get away with saying nowadays. The place of the woman in the home and the rules and the things that a woman should follow are so interesting. Well, some of the topics are infants and children, which all of my children are grown. Grandchildren are no longer infants. It's really interesting. You know, it talks a lot about things that I was taught as a young girl, and these are some of the things that I was taught. Now, all of you knew that I grew up in a Mennonite traditional family. Now, my parents left the Mennonite church with their beliefs. Now, my parents left the Mennonite church a little bit before I was born, but my mother kept all her Mennonite ideas in place. My mother no longer wore the covering, and she no longer just wore dresses. My mother wore pants and had her hair cut short. My mother grew up always in the Mennonite tradition. My mother was extremely plain, and my father. In fact, my uncle was bishop of the Mennonite church, of the plain order Mennonite church. And the bishop was one of the highest callings you could ever have. But mother taught me all of these things, and some of these things I think are good for women today, but they're so strict back in these days. But mother always said, you know, make yourself presentable for your husband. So when your husband came home from work, make sure your hair was combed and you were neatly dressed, and that your clothing is clean and that your hair is brushed and you look presentable. Mama always instilled that in me. My mom woke up, she always got dressed right away and put on shoes. My mother didn't walk around barefooted, because my mother always said that if you wear shoes, it makes you feel like working. Now, I don't wear shoes. In fact, I don't like wearing shoes at all, but it rings a little bit of truth to it. If you wake up and get yourself dressed and put your shoes on, it's in other words to say, hey, it's time to get working. Mother always made her bed the first thing in the morning before she did anything else. Her bed was always neatly made. Mother took great pride in her home. She took great pride in her life of being a homemaker. And all of these things come back to me when I read books like this. I love reading books like this. They teach you how to be the homemaker and how to have your meals. And even though in a Mennonite traditional family we didn't have fancy meals, we always sat at the table. That's one of the things that I am working on these days, is wanting to sit at the table more. Even though it's just my husband and I sitting at the table, mother always did that. And always the dishes were washed right after we were done eating. And in the evenings, mother would sit down with us. But up until evening time, my mom was always busy working and cleaning. She was cooking, she was washing clothing, she was sewing all of her own clothes. My mother was an extremely beautiful seamstress. Everything she made was precise and beautiful. And she sewed most of her own clothing. These are things that books like this can teach you. It's really quaint looking back on it. A lot of things they talk about. Sewing buttons on a piece of fabric scrap so you don't lose your buttons, and go for walks and point out the color and sizes and details of everything. Give a small corner of your garden in the summer to your children so they can learn to care for plants as well as watch them grow. Your child mix, roll out and cut cookies and eat the batter. Huh? You remember that when we would lick the beaters? Nowadays they say, oh, don't ever eat the batter. You know, it's a wonder any of us survived back then. In fact, I think we survived a lot better. It talks about reading road maps. I mean, who reads a road maps nowadays? And etiquette on telephone conversation. I think we all need a little of that. Plan for a variety of your life and great menus in minutes. A Woman's Fulfillment. I'll try to share with you the book in the links below if I can find it. I'm also really working on the Wartime Kitchen. You're going to be seeing a lot of this coming up in the next couple weeks. This is the direction of my channel, is to teach and show you all kinds of cooking and the way life was back in the wartime. Now this was from Britain, so this was the British wartime, but in the American wartime and the British, it's just so unique and so beautiful. The illustrations are amazing in these books. This is based on a series that you can get on YouTube. Right now you can watch all of the series called The Wartime Farm. The Wartime Garden and Kitchen. We're going to be doing a lot of videos in these because I'm actually going to be making a wartime garden, the Victory Garden. And the illustrations are just beautiful. I'm all about pretty pictures and pictures of history. Here's another book. Classic Household Hints of the 50s. Well, there's a lot of them. And the way the women worked in those days, it's quite interesting. They didn't have a modern conveniences like they do now. And they were just starting to roll out with a lot of electric appliances, but most of the women at this point couldn't afford it. Grandma's Wartime Kitchen, another one that is great. We're going to do a lot of recipes because I can guarantee you one thing. These recipes are going to be food that you can find in your own cupboard and you don't have to go to specialty stores to find the ingredients. And last but not least is the Victorian farm. Now we're going back even older in the 1800s, but it's really unique, and this is the life that I want to live. This is the life that I chose to live, and I just think it's so charming and beautiful. And I cannot wait to share with you some really neat projects that I'm working on. Friends, that's just a small sample of the books that I've been reading. So this week I went through all of my books. I got rid of about maybe 30% of them, and I donated them because I'm filling my shelves with these kinds of books. I don't want anything modern. I don't really like modern living, even though there are some things that I still use today, but I like these kind of books. I want to fill my life with the old way of living, and that's what brings me happiness. Everybody is different. There's lots of people who love the modern way of living. For me, my friends, this is me. This is me. And this is something I really enjoy too, because I feel like I'm at home when I read books like this, because all the things that my mom have taught me. I think in life you can go too extreme one way and the other. I think there's a happy medium no matter what you like in life. No matter, you can't be totally old-fashioned because look, hi, I'm using a camera that's very modern to make my videos, and you can't go totally modern. I think you need to read about life, about times before us, because history sadly repeats itself. And while we're living this week in a week of a lot of turmoil, I want to bring peace on my channel, and I want to bring a world back that we're missing. A world where family was important, where traditional values were important. Life is important, and we step back and just take a deep breath and enjoy what we have. You know, in this day and age, we need to focus on our homes and on our life. Find what you like to do, whether it's modern way of living or it's an old-fashioned way of living. If you like to cook or clean, if you like to sew, if you like to read or write, do those things and do it to the best of your ability. Nobody is perfect, but you know what I found? You will find great peace of mind, happiness, and joy in your life when you take the things you enjoy and just make the best of it. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, and that's a promise. More about Mennonites, you want to learn more about me and what in the world am I talking about and why do I talk the way that I do. There's so many videos I have. Go ahead and look at these videos below. I share with you my traditional Mennonite background. I share with you all of the things about my life and the Mennonite life, and I hope that you learn something from it, and I hope that you enjoy hearing a little more about a different lifestyle than maybe something you've heard before.